Okay, are we going? Okay, here we are. Hey, everyone. Welcome. It is Thursday, January 30th, 2025. I'm Jennifer Schurter with Real Broker here in the Portland, Oregon metro area. Thank you for tuning in to another exciting episode of Real Estate Recess. I am here today with my friend and special guest, Trish Gore. Trish is from Scottsdale, Arizona. And the reason I wanted to have her on is because it is cold here in Oregon. And she's in sunny Arizona. So hoping she can send some of that Arizona sun, just kind of like some good vibes, like send it our way, like, magic. But she's been a real estate agent for a while, wanted to just have her on and have her be part of the conversation today. So thanks for being here, Trish.
Oh my gosh, Jennifer, thanks so much for having me. It's such a pleasure to be on the show. And I'm super excited to talk with you about all things real estate related.
Awesome. Well, we have a few things we'd love to chat with you all about today. So one of the things is circulating social media. And I've seen it a lot as a real estate agent because it's been circulating the real estate agent circles on social. And it was a post, and it has what I would consider to be, for the public, so those of you out there watching, to be a bit of a hot take. And that has to do with how many agents actually did not sell a home in 2024. So we're going to talk about that. And then we're going to talk about a couple other things. We're going to talk about something, how you use an agent to get your house noticed. Really, we think it's the secret to selling. We're going to break that down. And then we're going to, in that same lane, we're going to talk about the top methods that real estate agents use to market homes. Trish, you do a lot of stuff in the luxury real estate space. So I'm really excited to hear your contributions to what those two articles actually have to say.
Oh yeah, I'm super excited to share. And we found some really successful strategies that we've used that set us apart down here and have helped our sellers get top dollar in the shortest amount of time. And it's great when I go on the listing appointments and we're finding that our comps are actually the highest comps and got our sellers the most money.
That's tremendous. I love to hear that. So yeah, without further ado, I guess we can just jump right in. So let's talk about this post. I don't know, Trish, have you seen it, or do you follow the account Jared James Today?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I saw that same post, and I got to tell you, when I first saw that, I was literally shocked. Like,
yeah,
houses sold at all, and a lot of these agents they're good agents. They
yeah.
have track records. I know in my sales office, we were talking about awards the other day, and one of the sales agents that typically is in the top 10, he was just like, oh, it was the worst year ever. I hardly did anything. And I thought to myself, that's really interesting. I wonder why, because I understand when it's like a hobbyist, somebody who just, kind of does it for fun, or they don't have a pressure. It's not really their career or business. And maybe they're just, selling maybe one or two homes a year. So they didn't sell anything last year. But when you hear an agent who's been in the business for a while and typically does well say that, it gets your attention, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's share. I have the post. So I'm going to share my screen. So hopefully y'all can see that. It shows this post. And for those watching, this is easy to find. You can go to Instagram, look up Jared James, find this post. It is pinned to the top of his profile. And the post says the following: 74% of all realtors sold 0 homes in 2024. That's like three quarters of the real estate agents. And the thing that I am curious about with this is I'm looking for the source on this to see where this data came from. Jared James is incredibly, he's a very known commodity in the real estate world. So I doubt he's just pulling these numbers out of thin air. There's a source for these somewhere. But to think, Trish, about 3/4 of all the realtors in the United States sold 0 houses.
Yeah.
In 2024 is mind-blowing.
Yeah, it's mind-blowing for sure. And I think, honestly, Jen, there was a lot of disruptors in our industry last year. I mean, you had to be really have a strong mindset and really just really embrace the changes. Otherwise, I think a lot of agents really got in their head, and it got scary, and it literally got depressed and maybe just didn't know how to deal with things. Because I know not everybody were given
Uh-oh.
Handle that
Did
kind
I?
of thing
Yeah.
when, like the changes with NAR happened or the lawsuit or, all that kind of thing. Like a lot of people were unsure like what to do. And I think they just froze and over analysis
Mm-hmm.
paralysis kind of thing when all they really needed to
Yeah.
do was embrace it, and instead of
Right.
thinking, oh, this is such a pain, we got to do all these things, just say, you know what, we're gonna have this change and it's going to be for the better, because now it gives me
Yes.
an opportunity to talk to the buyers ahead of time and talk to them about the compensation and what the
Mm-hmm.
options are and all those kinds of things. I think once again it's just like how you choose to respond when something happens. It makes all the difference. And I think, unfortunately, a lot of people respond to change like they don't like it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, most of us don't like change. It's kind of scary, like things stay the same. So I
Right.
think that, yeah, I think that a lot of agents just kind of freaked out and then just didn't do anything because they
Yeah.
didn't have the tools, the skills, or didn't know where to get them.
Yeah. And I'll agree with you there. And just for some context for those watching who
Uh-oh,
are
I can't hear
outside the real
you.
estate. Uh-oh, you can't hear me? Oh,
Uh-oh.
no. Shoot. Well, let me know if that gets better. How about now? Oh, my goodness. Okay, hold on here. We're having technical challenges, of course, so this is always exciting. So for some context here, what I will say is that in the last year, we've had a lot of changes in the real estate industry that have impacted how agents are conducting business. So on a day-to-day basis, sorry, technical challenges. I don't even know if anybody can hear me. I know Trish can't hear me. But what I will say is we're having technical difficulties. The changes came in August, where there were some practice changes that happened with the National Association of Realtors. We had to change the way that we interact with clients when it comes to showing a property. So prior to showing a property, we have to have an agreement in place with everybody. So before we can show that property, there's been lots of changes. And I guess it comes down to there's a lot of agents who took these changes in stride, and then there were others that ended up probably not taking on these changes as well. Hang on one second. So anyway, while we sort out what's going on, hopefully we can get these issues resolved. Hopefully you all can hear me okay. The next piece of this is that 2% of agents, and hopefully Trish, you can hear me. Hopefully you can hear me anyways. Okay. Okay, good. Okay, super. So I was just trying to give a little context. It was so distracting. I'm like, oh, the technical problems. Oh, shoot. For the record, everyone out there, my internet at this office space I started using recently is terrible, which is why everything is so wonky and the service is so bad and the video quality is bad. But today I have a Starlink arriving so that when I'm out here in this location, which is more rural, where the internet is not as reliable, fingers crossed that this podcast here is going to be a lot better starting next week. So do an internet dance for me out there, if you will. So anyway, back to the topic. So we realized 3/4 of all the realtors basically sold 0 houses, but 2% sold between 11 and 20 houses last year. So 2%, that's like the top 2% of agents sold between 11 and 20 houses. And Trish, I don't know about you, in my market, it may not, a few houses doesn't sound like a lot, but if you're in a market like California where you have multi-million dollar price points, it only takes a handful of houses to, make a decent living.
Exactly. And the thing is, it's, in last year's market, along with all the disruptors we also had the election going on, which, regardless of how you feel about it, it does put a little level of uncertainty in people. And I felt like in our market for sure here in Scottsdale, Arizona, a lot of people were kind of on hold, waiting to see turned out. And so, and we have seen that pattern every 4 years that happens when we have an election. So it's kind of a typical thing down here where people kind of go in a holding pattern and then wait until after the election, and all of a sudden they're ready to go again. But yeah, it was an interesting year. And then somebody told me too, I'm trying to remember the source, it was an economist, but I was listening and they said that last year there was such low transactional volume. They hadn't seen that low transactional volume since 2008. So I
Oh,
would
wow.
check that source too. But yeah, it was interesting, right? Because it
That
did
is very interesting.
slow, like incredibly slow.
Well, and then you figure if if the number of houses sold, that equates to a there's a lot fewer pieces of the pie to go around, and so more those agents who are out there really hustling and really like embracing the changes and doing the things that in a rapidly changing world landscape, not just our industry but everything in the world, that as every business has to adapt to AI and technology and social media and attention span and capturing attention, that if you're not also adapting to these things as an agent, like you're not going to capture that business. And so on the consumer side, what does this mean to you? It means that, also 0.14%, that slim, tiny little percentage sold 45 houses. So we go from 11 to 20 up to 45 or more houses being sold in the past year, which is a lot, that's a huge amount of work and a huge amount of volume. But what this is saying is the moral of the story, according to Jared James, is that if you are a consumer and you're looking to buy or sell, that if you worked with a realtor in the past who did a great job for you and is still selling real estate, so he's saying when you get ready to buy or sell again, you should use them, because if you switch agents, statistically, looking at that data means you have a 98% chance of working with someone that couldn't even sell a house per month when your original agent has defied the odds just by being around. Trish.
Yeah, so true. I mean, it goes down to CEO, change equals opportunity. And, if these agents are not embracing the changes and not being able to pivot their businesses, like we've had to modify and adjust our businesses and pivot the last 4 years to stay relevant, then, honestly, a lot of them are having to get having to get jobs, or, they're just like leaving the industry. So it is very
Yeah.
important. And, if you had a good experience with your past agent, definitely that loyalty, you should stick with them, because the fact that they're still standing in the industry is huge.
I would agree 100%. And this also matters to you on a consumer side, that if an agent you're working with is the type that's out there hustling, they're embracing the changes that have been coming in the industry and how that affects, and the world, and how that affects the real estate industry, that bodes well for you as a real estate consumer, because you're going to be selling a property. You have more confidence that that agent is using all the tools at their disposal to sell your property in the shortest amount of time and for the most money possible. Those are both things we all want to achieve with the sale of a property, or finding an off-market property, or whatever, helping you find something. If you're a buyer, that agent is more savvy and is going to be able to leave no stone unturned.
Yes, absolutely. And to segue from that too, Jen, is that what I'm also seeing recently is not particularly my clients, but there are a lot of people out there now that I've been noticing that there's, I think maybe got the wrong media message or something about the changes, but some people don't think they need an agent anymore, which is crazy to me, because
Right.
honestly, we were put in place to protect the consumer and make sure that somewhere down the line, they don't get a lawsuit, because we've had them covered. We had the inspections done. We did all the disclosures. We did all these things. And a lot of people right now are thinking, oh, I'm just going to save, the 1, 2, or 3%, and go to title. And you know what, if you do that, you are really putting yourself out there in a really liable position, because they can change title, but they don't have any of those things in place where you did the disclosures, you did the inspections, all the things that add up to protect you. And that's why over 100 years now we've had realtors, because they need us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I know what a lot of people are thinking. And this is always, you go to the TikTok world or to the social media world, you post anything about being an agent and the service you provide and the standard of ethics that we adhere to. There's always those trolls that come out of the woodwork and they're like, realtors are scumbags. You don't know what you're doing. You need to stay in your lane. You don't you make everything like you're the reason that the world will spin off its axis and just whatever, like people, they just come unhinged. But, I think those people, either if they're not trolls and they are truly feeling that way, they're just like any industry. There's a lot of really unethical people out there in general. There's unethical people in every type of profession. And so it's like, yes, are there bad realtors out there? 100%. There's a lot of people that don't do their job or do it ethically, or they're just out for the money and they're not looking at the big picture as a fiduciary to help their client. So that's where I always tell people, I'm like, you may not think you need a realtor, but interview a couple before you make that decision. Find some good agents in your area and get some referrals to talk to the right people and ask them hard questions and see how they answer. Ask them about their production. How many houses did you sell last year? What is your typical strategy when you go into selling a property? And what's the hardest thing you've had to encounter with a transaction, and how did you handle it, and what was the outcome? Questions like that are going to help you. Like, if you don't think you need an agent, what if you encountered those hard situations on your own? Then suddenly you've got to hire an attorney and it's delaying things. And, you're getting into some sticky territory on your own that could have been easily mitigated by working with a professional.
That is so true. And I think that a lot of times people get hung up thinking that, I'm going to save, some money. And they get so caught up on saving the money instead of focusing on how much a realtor can make you. Like, we're going to expose your property to the whole market. So that's automatically going to drive the price up of your house. And the exposure is what is really going to drive the sale of your house too. The more exposure, the higher the price. And then, like you said, sure, there's some agents out there that, maybe you shouldn't hire, but the easy thing to do is just ask them, like you said, what's your track record? Ask them for their scorecard, and see how many houses they sold, what was their list to sales price ratio of the homes they listed. All those kinds of things are super important. Ask them their market knowledge, those things like that. And you can determine pretty quickly, even just on those 3 questions, whether you want to list with that agent or not. And, have them show you. I mean, literally, they can show you right on the MLS how many houses they sold last year.
Yeah, absolutely. And even if you want to do your own homework, I mean, as much as the information on some of these third-party sites is not always up to date, but homes.com will give you a pretty decent idea of their resume and sales, whether it's they've helped people purchase or help people sell. Zillow shows that to a certain extent if they have a profile on Zillow. So there are places you can go as a consumer to kind of do some looking as well into that. So before you decide that you don't need an agent anymore, and maybe that's the right thing for you. I mean, it is a thing. But I would encourage anyone who's thinking along those lines to, before they are so solid in that decision, that they actually interview some people to interview agents to make sure that is indeed what the direction they want to go. And maybe so after that.
Yeah, definitely. Because anything that if they're just focused on saving, honestly, they're going to make the least amount of money if they go the route without an agent, because they're not going to have any ability to market it to the masses. And that's what drives the price up. And also too, the protection we offer is so worth our compensation. Because, to pay 2 to 3%, and then, if you don't do that, and then down the line you have a lawsuit of some kind, that's going to cost you a lot more.
Right.
So it's unfortunate some people shoot themselves in the foot by, instead of focus on how much money they can make with their real estate agent, and leave in their pocket, when they walk away from the house after it's sold, instead they're focused on how much money can I save, and that usually ends up resulting in they get the least amount of money for the sale of their property.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Just all these misconceptions.
Yes, this actually ties in very well to the next thing, because I think as an industry, And you know, with a lot of people thinking that with the changes that happened in the real estate industry towards the end of last year, where, you know, like you said, people might think, oh, well, since this change happened, I don't have to use an agent anymore. Like, it's not required. Well, it's never been required that's never been a requirement. But
Right.
I think as an industry for a long time, we have not done a very good job of showcasing everything that we do, the types of things that we do, and why there's a value to hiring a real estate agent to help you through these transactions. And so that's maybe where we can talk about this right here. So this is just an article. And since I couldn't get it to download because of, you know, terrible internet, this is what it is. If you want a copy of this, just drop us a comment, which, by the way, if you're watching this right now, I should mention before it gets too off in the weeds, leave us a comment. Let us know what your thoughts are. So we just talked about the 74% of agents who haven't sold a home in the past year. Let us know what you think of that in the comments. And as we go through here, leave us a comment. Would love to have you as part of this conversation as well. So this is saying the secret to selling is that using an agent to get your house noticed. So as a real estate agent, with my coach, so I have a business coach. Trish, you do too. I think we're in the Tom Ferry coaching program. So I had my coaching call today with my client, with my coach, and we were talking about marketing. And I was like, you know, I don't want to be the type of agent that does what I call the post and pray, which is sign post pictures, post to the MLS, and pray that it sells. And it's the most basic. It's just basic, you know, and and yeah, will it get the job done? It could. But in my opinion, I would much rather leave no stone unturned. I don't know, Trish, what do you think? What are your thoughts about this? So here, this is showing the top methods in this graph that, you know, the MLS, a yard sign, an open house, website, and look at how low video is on this. It's really interesting. I'd love to hear your take.
Right. That's interesting. So I wonder how old that chart is. Is that recent?
Allegedly, it is in a recent survey. So this is an article that was released here within the last, I would assume, within the last week. So I would like to presume that the National Association of Realtors released this data with, you know, it's been compiled over at least the last year to be more relevant.
Okay, very good. Okay. So, you know, it's interesting, Jen, I think wherever you are, you do have to know your audience for sure. Where I am here in Scottsdale, you know, definitely, I think video marketing, social media, that definitely has a place in our strategies. And a lot of people are on it and have found us that way. But you know, it's not always the case. Like, say, if you're in a retired community, 55 and older, maybe not all those folks are on social media. I mean, I don't know. So maybe there it's not as effective. But in general, you know, you do those general things. But nowadays, I find, at least in my market, there's a lot of competition. And, you know, amongst the agents, we do have quite a few good agents here. And I found one way to really differentiate is going outside these lines and really making a splash in the market. And what I mean by that is, you know, when I get a luxury listing, for instance, we have a special tried and true strategies that we follow. And one of them is that, you know, when we're getting ready to put a property on the market, we get all of our marketing collaterals, everything done before that property actually goes live on the market. And we have a huge buildup. We have like 6 to 8 weeks of the surrounding, you know, 5,000 homes getting postcards once a week. And they're not your typical just listed coming soon postcards. They have really catchy, fun titles and look totally different, so that they catch your attention before you know, round file it. And by the third week, you're like,
round
oh my
file,
gosh, what's going
AKA
on?
trash can.
Right, yeah, exactly. So, you know, by the end, what I'm doing is inviting them to a soiree or like, you know, some kind of listing launch kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we've done all sorts of fun parties where it's a big event and we invite the entire community. And some people are like, oh my God, that's crazy, really? And I'm like, yeah. And it's great because we have, we actually literally, the house is right in that community too. We'll door knock for that whole week to make sure everybody, gets to see us face to face too, and gets a personal
Yeah.
invite in addition to all of them that went out to the 5,000. But yeah, it's great. We've had great turnouts to these events, and we've gone and done all sorts of different things. One thing we did that was super successful and people loved it was the wood-fired pizza truck. Super
Oh,
fun.
yeah.
As soon as
That
that
would
gets
be
stoked,
fun.
oh yeah, it was great. We we have it right around sunset, and the people, you smell that wood fire, and then the pizzas, and oh my gosh, that smell just brings them in by itself because it just the aroma of those pizzas cooking in that wood-fired pizza oven is amazing. But then we have a bartender there too, and we have cocktails and mocktails, and we have live music, and it's a big party, and it's not cheap. But what I have found is that not only the neighbors and the community, they love it, and it's a great time for them to all get together because a lot of times we're too busy to even see our neighbors, right? And so it's a
Yes.
great way to bring the community together. We've literally gotten other clients that have come up to us literally at those events with their postcards or their invitations in hand, and say, we
Yeah.
had to come see what this was because we've never heard of an open house like this. And then we
Yeah.
saw, instead of the 5 to 7 signs that most agents will put out, we put out about 30. And they're like, yeah, we just
Wow.
followed the signs because we just had to see what was going on.
It
So,
must be something big.
um,
There's 30 signs on the road.
yeah,
30.
right. And
Yeah.
pretty
That's
much
wild.
everybody knows about it because they got a postcard the last 5 to 6, sometimes 8 weeks,
Yeah.
depending on how much time we have before we need to go on. So
So
I found
Trish,
that's really helpful.
so question for you. So you're in Arizona and I'm up here in
Uh-huh.
Oregon. When you take a listing, so because in Oregon, the rules here might be different than what you're looking at there, because I love
True.
that idea of just really building up momentum before a listing hits the market. So here's my curiosity. In the state of Arizona, are you allowed to pre-market a listing before it's actually live on the market?
Yes, we are. We can put it in coming soon status for 30 days ahead of time.
And that can be publicly marketed as 123 Chicken Avenue is going to be on the market. Come to our open house with a pizza truck and cocktails.
Yes.
Wow. So in Oregon, we cannot do that. Market cannot start technically until the property is actually active, which is frustrating. And I get and I can appreciate why they do this. And I know that there's abuses of that opportunity done. I'm sure of it. But the reason it's frustrating is exactly for what I'm charged with. My clients hire me to sell their property and to do everything possible. I love the idea of the mega open house, which is what you're talking about with the party. And it's like a send off for the neighbors. Like, we want to have a good time. Come see the house. Your neighbors have been working so hard to get their house ready. Like, come and have some pizza and a beverage and, hang out with us. It's going to be a great time. But I wish we could do that, because for me to do that, I wouldn't be able to start marketing that until the day it went live, until that property was live on the market. And then it's kind of like your open houses don't get the same oomph that you might like them to have because you haven't had the same opportunity to market them, to build up the momentum. You're literally building it up for a day or two. So then your open house traffic may not be as good as you might want it to be. So anyway, interesting differences. And I think we lost Trish's audio again. Can you hear me? So anyway, what Trish was talking about is marketing properties, mega open houses, and things like that. So what's interesting is in here, so this graph is showing the top methods real estate agents are using to market homes, and the percentage of the respondents here are among sellers who used an agent. So apparently this is people who used an agent to sell their home. And these are all such basic things that I'm curious to know in the comments for those watching, do you feel like the MLS, a yard sign, an open house, and just web exposure is sufficient to sell your house? I would really be interested in knowing that. So leave me a comment and let me know what you think of that here in the comments. In my opinion, I think that in order to effectively sell a house, you need to have multiple different things that you're doing. I love using video and producing great videos. I think that is something that is absolutely a key component of actually selling that property. It's fun. You can do a fun spin on it. I've seen some really creative stuff. Trish, can you hear me? Are you back? Nope. Darn it. So we're still having some technical challenges off and on here. So thank you for hanging in there with us on that. So video is something I am a big fan of. I also believe that there's a lot of different tools to market a property. And I think that as an agent, I'm going to use all of them. I'm going to use as many tools as we can to efficiently market a property that makes sense. Not every house, for instance, makes sense to use what we call twilight photos, which are those really cool pictures that show the sunset behind the house with the outdoor lights on. Those are beautiful. We like to use those pictures, but the challenge with that is not every house is in a good location for those types of pictures. And you may not be facing the right way. So obviously we don't want to put a house that faces the wrong direction, because we would know a sunset doesn't happen to the back of the house. So always wanting to use as many tools as possible to try to get that house sold. So Trish, are you back? Can you hear me? Are you there? Can you hear me, Trish? Darn it, we're still having some struggles here. So anyway, so at the end of the day, the bottom line, what we want to see when it comes to marketing your home, we work hard, and an agent you hire, just ask them, check into their marketing plan. What exactly are they, what are their plans? How do they intend to market your property? And definitely ask those questions. Did we get you back, Trish? Are you there? Are we having some challenges? Let's see here. Okay. Can you hear me, Trish? Hello, can you hear me? Okay, well, let's move on. Let's go to, so the next thing that ties into this very nicely is another article that I found now let's see, that I can't find now. This is just a day. This is just, maybe you remember once upon a time there was a viral video of Bill O'Reilly, and he's very angry and frustrated, and he says, "We're doing it live," and he's in this like really angry, scary voice. And that's the beauty of live, is you just never really know what it is that you're going to get. So here we are. It's live. We do the best we can. Are you back, Trish? Do we have you back?
Yeah, I can hear you again.
Good. It's like, okay, well, now
I don't know.
Now I'm having some challenges. No, I didn't do a thing. I've just been rambling, and I'm sure it's been very, very compelling content with me just rambling and rambling. So anyway, I just kind of broke down this secret of selling, with the methods that agents are using to sell houses. And And so basically what I had said was, there's a lot of things that can be done. And I'm surprised that such a slim percentage of agents had used video. What did it say? 12%? 12% according to this survey. We'll bring this back up here. 12% of agents used video, or 16% used virtual tour, and 22% used social marketing, social networking. So I would assume that would mean like social media. I think those are, the fact that those are higher in today's world when those tools are so accessible is kind of shocks me a little bit, because those are there for the taking. And I think that in today's world, video is one of the most important things you can do to market a property, to communicate
Totally agree.
anything.
Oh yeah. I mean, and
Yeah.
even if I mean, gosh, you can even send it out not only on social media and all those different platforms, but you know, you could even put nowadays in a QR code your video and put it on the front of a
Hmm.
postcard and send it out so that everybody can see this is the kind of marketing we're doing and these are the results
Right.
we're getting. Because everybody can read a QR code now after COVID, and we had to read them all the menus like that.
Yes.
You know,
Yes. It was funny
it's
because
easy.
QR codes were kind of like, oh, those are so passe. Like, we don't need to
Yeah.
use those. It's just a clunky old thing from the, teens.
They're
And then
cool
all of a
again.
sudden, here comes COVID, and now you go to a restaurant, and they don't give you a paper, like scan this to have your menu on the phone. Like, okay. And then they became commonplace again, and now we use them more robustly than we ever did. So
Yeah.
you're right. It's an underutilized by this survey and very underutilized tool. And so
Oh,
I
it
think
is.
agents that are out there using video, if your agent does video on your property, that's a tremendous win because they're in a space that not a lot of agents are using. And it is absolutely a differentiator, I would
So
say,
true.
in the space where it's competitive.
Oh, yeah, Jen. I mean, just think about it. I mean, if you have a really great property that has so many like luxurious features and details, it's hard to get all that in that little write-up you get on the MLS, you know. But if you can go through and shoot a video of you turning on like the Thermador or the Wolf gas cooktop, and you
Hmm.
can show that like 8 burner gas cooktop complete with a griddle, and then you can show the beautiful countertops, like actually show them, not just, you know, have a big picture where you can kind of see them in the distance, you know, but close up and show them all those little details that they might not see otherwise.
Uh-huh.
It makes a big difference. Like, yeah, the tall baseboards, you know, the lighting, all those things you can just zoom in on, and then too, just showing the lifestyle too. I know we had a lot of fun last summer.
Yes.
It was hotter than blazes here, but we got out there and you know, in one of my clients' houses, I mean, I literally was floating around the pool and a floaty
Hmm.
with a
That's
cocktail at
perfect.
the
That's
end
so
after I showed
fun.
all the cool
This
like
could be you if
features,
you buy this property. You
right?
too could be in this floaty right now with a cold beverage.
Yeah,
This
and it
could
was
be
so much
you. You
fun.
should buy this house. Yeah,
Oh yeah, her
100%. I
backyard had
love
oh
that.
yeah, swim up bar. They had the bocce ball court. They had a little golf like putting area. Beautiful mountain views. A great like fire like pit area to sit around and lots more. And it was just a great way to feature it because if you just saw a picture of the whole backyard, you'd be like, okay, that's cool. But when you actually see it, like here's a swim up bar. Oh, thanks. You know, get a cocktail and then you hop back in your floaty and you know you're floating
Yeah.
away. Just kind of showing that wow, that sounds really nice. And the cool thing is, I mean, especially if you're up in Oregon or Washington, where I'm originally from, um, oh my gosh, to see that at this time of year, I'd be like, oh, I am out of here. I mean, it's a 2 hour
Mhm.
flight.
Yeah, right.
Direct, direct.
Exactly.
Come on down, because
Absolutely.
you know we're going into February, which is the height of our you know peak beautiful season. I mean, it's going to be like 72, 78 and
Mhm.
warm breezes and perfect weather, like from February through the end of May.
That
So
sounds
it's a great
glorious.
time to come down.
I'm
You should
looking
come
out the
down.
window.
You
I
should go
should. I'm looking
spying.
out the window. Yeah, right. I'm looking out the window right now and it's foggy, kind of foggy,
Oh,
and probably 40 degrees. So that
oh,
extra
burn.
30 degrees and some sun would feel amazing right now. It's just
Oh,
so
yeah.
chilly. But yeah, so you're right. The pictures do show something, but I
Mhm.
mean, and then you have the MLS, the description, so as a consumer, you go to Zillow or Redfin or Realtor, whatever website you go to, and you see the write-up where they list the stuff about the property, but it doesn't quite show it, like you say, as a video where it tells the story. It shows people
Yes.
in those spaces and something about seeing a person in that space. um it just it gives you a different perspective, and I think that it helps sell the property. I really, really do.
It does. And you know, another thing that we've tried that's really unique, and I haven't seen really anybody else doing it, is letting our sellers, if they're interested, tell the story of their home. And that
Yes.
I found is super powerful because, the things that you find out about the home, it's like it makes you more intriguing and fun. And it's really like, to purchase that home after hearing about all the wonderful things that they've experienced living there and how great the community is and just all, again, the lifestyle and everything. You really realize it's such a legacy coming in to, take that space that once was theirs and now make it yours.
Yeah. And I could see that working really well. So if somebody out there has, so those watching out there, here's a free idea for you. I'm not going to charge you for it, but it's like you have a very custom home, something that is special or it's been in the family or something very unique about it that has a story to tell that's not just your typical suburban cookie cutter type house, but it truly has a story to tell. There's something unique. Maybe there's a historic value to it, but that is an excellent way to differentiate your property because pictures and an MLS write-up that says historic property, 5 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, 2 acres, like, okay, cool. But that doesn't really give you the full complexity of that story. So that's an excellent idea. Trish and I will not charge you for that, people. So
Free tip.
yeah.
Free tip of the day. Pro hack.
Yeah. So question for those watching, and if you could leave us a comment and join the conversation. Let's say you're going to sell your house. What's your expectation of an agent? As far as that's concerned, is it marketing? Do you want to feel like your agent has marketing skills and is with the times and is able to adapt to the market and reaching people where they're actually at and reaching the different kinds of consumers who are going to be looking for a house? Is that important? Is it negotiation skills? Like, leave us a comment. Maybe it's all of the above. Let us know what you want from an agent. Would love to hear your take on that. So,
Yes,
so
absolutely.
Trish, you mentioned that you being in Scottsdale and it's 70 degrees. I will tell you, I know several people here from Oregon who have decided to, if they haven't moved to Arizona full time, they're looking at second properties. So I know there's a lot of movement between Oregon and Arizona for that reason. We get to February, we get that gloomy kind of seasonal affective disorder going on here. So tell us about your market in Scottsdale and, other than the sun, but what really makes it attractive to people who are looking for either a relocation or, coming from Oregon, or they want to, just find a place where they can go to escape the winter gloom that we have up here in the Pacific Northwest.
Oh, sure. Well, completely understand being from Washington, like around the Seattle area myself. Moved down here in 2008 after one of my best friends moved down here. And I remember calling her around Easter. And I was all excited to take my little girls, they were little at that time, and to church with their little new Easter Sunday dresses on. And I looked outside and I was like, ugh, it is sideways freezing rain, super cold. So, I bundle up the kids, can't even see the dresses. And we go to church and I'm like kind of irritated. And he gets back and I'm calling my friend, hey, happy Easter. What are you guys doing? I hear this weird noise in the background. And she goes, oh, we're just hanging poolside. And I hear that weird noise in the background again. And I realize it's a splash. It's a splash. She's like, yeah, the kids are doing cannonballs in the pool. And I'm like, how warm is it there right now? And she's like,
Right.
maybe 84, degrees. I'm like, oh my gosh. She's like, what's it like there? I'm like, oh, you don't want to know.
Definitely not swimming weather.
No, not swimming weather. So, I got intrigued and came down here. And I will tell you, the lifestyle is so nice because pretty much 365 days a year, you can be outside doing things, whether it's hiking,
Wow.
golfing. If you're a triathlete and you want to like run, swim, and bike, you can do that all here. And, people here, I remember when I first moved here, it was kind of funny because, well, it was like, I went to the gym in town that I asked somebody, where's the best gym? And they told me where to go. And I remember pulling up and I was like, this is the gym? It looks like a hotel. Like, look at that pool. It's got like a regular lap pool, and then it's got a fun pool. And then it's got this kid pool
Wow.
that had like this huge water. It looked like a water world or something with this huge water
Yeah.
park. And but sure enough, that was the gym. That's the style gyms you have here. And it's like, because when it's nice, you can go hang out by the pool after your workout, I guess. And then, I went in. So as I'm pulling into the, parking lot, I'm noticing almost every other car is like a BMW, a Mercedes, or nicer car. I'm just like,
Uh-huh.
okay.
Yeah.
And then I'm going in there and driving my Toyota. Uh,
Yeah.
I had a Toyota Sequoia at the time. And, but it was kind of funny because I just felt like, wow, this place, everything sparkles, everything's just different here. And I noticed how healthy everybody seemed, and it was because I
Yeah.
realized they're out and about doing things all the
Right. Well,
time. They're,
here's some
hiking
pictures.
Pinnacle Peak. Yeah, there's
You
Pinnacle
sent
Peak,
me you sent me some photos, or your assistant did. And I mean, just to
Yes.
give people like visualize this, like look at this sunny, like that could be today. Like you could be there today. I'm looking at that. I'm like, that doesn't look too bad.
Right. Isn't it gorgeous?
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
just beautiful. It almost, some of the hikes, like you go on it, it's so pretty. It almost looks fake. Like that, there is a Estancia golf course, and you're surrounded by these boulders where there's this ginormous boulder on top of this little tiny rock, and it looks like it's just going to fall off at any
And
second.
those
And it's been like
houses,
that for
are
hundreds of
those
years.
like, to be the real estate house nerd I am, are those like Frank Lloyd Wright style houses on this golf course, like back up against the rock there?
There'll be some of those, yeah. In that neighborhood in Estancia, that's a very nice, upscale neighborhood out in like the Troon area, and you are just surrounded by world-class golf courses, like 360 everywhere.
Yeah,
Beautiful mountain views, gorgeous sunsets. We have some
that's
of the
so
prettiest
cool.
sunsets you'll ever
Oh,
see.
look, here's a
Um,
sunset picture.
and look at there, we segue right
Perfect.
into it.
Here it is. Segue right into it.
But it is great. I mean, if you love golf, there is, I mean, a ton of golf here. They're incredible courses, super fun. And we have all the amenities. The girls will come out in the carts, and they've got the drink cart, and they'll make sure you're well taken care of. And,
That's so fun.
it's a great place to golf. If you love hiking, it's great for hiking. If you love shopping, we've got some great shopping, world class shopping. And a lot of them are outdoor malls, so it's super fun because you can enjoy the weather and shop at the same
Yeah.
time.
Oh,
And
that's
then,
so good.
oh yeah, the dining experiences, like this spa here is one of my favorites. That's the Well and Bean Spa. It's at the Fairmont Princess Hotel, and that's one of my personal favorite spas. I do have a few of them, but that's probably one of my top faves, just because it has everything. I literally will go there early in the morning, catch a workout class, and then just like get a massage, and then just stay and enjoy the spa, and have lunch poolside. They've got these great like big mattress things that you can float on in the pool, and it's just
Like
like you
these,
could
there's
literally
a
take a nap
picture. I'm
on.
going to go back. There's people doing pool yoga.
Yeah, and it's fun. If you
We
fall off,
have,
who cares?
who cares? Well, up
Off.
here, Trish, I mean, to brag, but we've got goat yoga. So, I mean, you can do yoga with goats, baby goats that'll just jump on
Oh,
you. I
cute.
mean, come on.
That's
We
fun.
have that going for us up here at least. We don't have pool.
That
We
is
may not be able to
awesome.
do this 365 days a year, but we've got goat yoga. Okay.
Oh, I love
Don't
it. Goat
forget
yoga.
that.
Don't forget that. Who might cuddle up
Don't
with a cute
forget
little
that.
goat, or
I
yeah,
know.
a
I
baby goat.
know.
That's so cute. But yeah, it's just so much fun. And then, so the golf scene's great. The hiking scene is great. Shopping is world class. We've got great shopping.
Oh, look,
And then,
here's an outdoor mall. Shop.
oh
Shop
yeah,
till you
there you
drop.
go. Shop till
Yeah.
you drop. It's incredible. It's so fun. And the kids have fun too because they've got big splash pads and things where you can like, give them a little break and they can have fun. Tons of great restaurants, and even there's places like the Pet Shack where if you want to go and play, indoor golf, maybe it's like the cooler time of year or you want to go get something to eat. This is Dominic's Steakhouse. That's one of my favorite places to go get a good steak. It's very upscale. There's always fun cars parked in front just like that. That's not just for the
Yeah.
marketing. That's really what it's like on a Thursday night. You go
Oh,
up there and
wow.
it's like, oh,
That's
there's a
cool.
Bugatti, there's a Ferrari, you know.
Yeah,
So it's a lot
right.
of fun. And inside, it's just super decadent and gorgeous. And, there's three different levels. You can eat in the main dining area, which is beautiful. You can eat in the bar. Actually, there's four different. Then there's that upper level,
Well,
mid-level you
that's
can
cool.
eat at. And then the best part is you can go all the way up to the top, and the top at the roof, the roof opens up, and so you can see the stars, and there's a pool in the middle. So all the
Oh,
tables are around
cool.
a pool, and it's super fun. So that's a great place if you want to go out for a steak dinner and have just an incredible meal and an incredible experience too. It's super fun.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And then
So
if you're tired out, you can go to spa.
yeah, hey,
Take good care of
perfect.
yourself and then do it all over again.
So anybody who wants to connect with you, Trish, why don't you tell the people how they can find you if they're curious about Arizona, checking out Scottsdale for primary residents to relocate, or if they are wanting to look at second homes, how could they, or they just want to see what you're up to, how can they find you?
Absolutely. Happy to do it. So you can reach me at Trish. My email is trish@trishgore.com or my cell phone. I mean, literally, you could just call me or text me at 480-295-6062. You can also find me on Instagram. It's Trish Gore AZ. Let's see. Yeah, those are some probably the easiest ways to find me.
Perfect.
But yeah, or you can just look up Trish Gore, the Gore Group in Scottsdale, Arizona. I do specialize in Scottsdale, but I also do, if you're looking for a property in Cave Creek or Carefree or some of the other outlying cities in Maricopa County, there's 17 of them, and I most likely service one of the 17. So if you're looking in Surprise or Peoria, we can help you there too. And of course, Paradise Valley and Fountain Hills. So there's a lot of opportunities down here for houses and just beautiful communities. And so it's a great lifestyle, it really is. And it's great if you're thinking second home, because our taxes here are super low. And yeah, it's just super easy. I know a lot of people from Washington and Oregon that have second homes here.
Yeah.
Or have outright moved here and love it.
Yeah. Well, that's incredible. I thank you so much for taking the time to hang out today amidst all of our little technical challenges. We made it. We made it, Trish.
It was fun.
We did it.
We did it.
We did it.
We persevered. Yes, it was
we made it.
To be here.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having me.
Live broadcasts are always so much fun. So, thanks for tuning in, everybody. If you're looking to make if you're looking to make a move around the Portland, Oregon Metro Suburbs, I'm out in Canby and I cover Canby in the North Willamette Valley. I hope you'll look me up. Otherwise, subscribe to this channel. I'm going to keep you posted on all the things going on in this neck of the woods. And otherwise, I will look forward to seeing you next Thursday, same time, same place at Living in Portland Suburbs. Have a great week, everybody. And thanks for checking out Real Estate Recess. Take care.